Right. Now we're talking about transportation, and currently he's riding the bus to school. We have, as you know, had some behavior issues on the bus, which we've been working on. And really what it boils down to is getting up out of his seat, which is a big safety concern for those bus drivers, rightly so. And he's kind of having conversations with peers at different areas of the bus. And there was that incident we spoke about last week with him throwing items out of the window and the bus driver had to stop. So I like Ms. Dufresne, if you could talk a little bit about some of the things we've tried with the bus driver just to try and figure this out.
Yeah. So bus referrals, and we've spoken about this on the phone a few times, but those bus referrals come to me, and then I'm kind of the liaison that communicates with, Mr. Van Oss as the case manager and the bus garage about kind of like strategies and things we can try. And so in these kinds of situations where we're kind of wondering, what exactly can we do to prevent this or to decrease this? And obviously it is a pretty significant safety concern. What we'd like to try and do, or just try a couple of things first. So as a general rule, with all of our transportation, kids are provided what we call a zoned seating chart. So they're kind of assigned to a zone on the bus. Okay. And so that's sort of been in place from the beginning, and all the kids get that. When we started seeing these behaviors several weeks ago, what we did was we gave Jeremy an assigned seat, and we had that in place for about 2 weeks. Yeah. It worked really well for the first couple of days, and then we started to see the same kinds of behaviors again. And I think that was the first time that we talked about those bus referrals. And so after we started to get a couple of those, then what we said we were going to do was work on incorporating his points sheet into his behavior on the bus. Yep. So he would get he'd come in, we had that system set up with the bus driver with the stickers, and then he'd bring that in and he could, have that attached to his point sheet and get those rewards. Again, it worked for a couple of days, and then again we started to see that behavior, and that was the most recent incident where he was throwing those items out of the window. Yeah. And so we're kind of at a point now where I think it's good for us to talk about some alternative transportation options for Jeremy, because his behavior really is unsafe, and we really do need to kind of figure out something different. So did you want to talk about special transportation as an option on his IEP?
Well, I think that's what I'd like to propose to the team, is that we consider, it's called special transportation, but it would be a different vehicle. And I know, I think you did a call to the bus garage just to kind of get a sense of how this might affect his route.
That's something I'm a little nervous about. I'm just curious about pickup time, or given I'm going to work and just want to make sure he's getting there on time.
So we did we did some of that planning work ahead of time, because we have different types of vehicles that we could use, and what they're able to offer would be a smaller size bus. There are 4 students on the bus right now, so Jeremy would make number 5, so there's plenty of space. There's also para support on the bus, and so there's some extra adult supervision. So if we need to move, from the zoned seating to another assigned seat, we also have some extra adult support, which I think would be good for him. And the drop off, or I'm sorry, his pickup time in the morning would change by maybe 5 minutes, and I think it's 5 minutes earlier. Okay. And then his drop off time in the afternoon would be real similar, because those buses kind of just follow each other. Okay. So nothing major as far as the pickup and drop off time.
That's helpful to know.
Yeah.
Thanks. I think we'll be able to make that work.
Okay.
I'm really concerned about the bus situations that have come up. And I've noticed too, on those days his point sheets have just been more tricky, and I think it's starting his day off rocky. So I get this change, and I would support that.
Yeah, I think just with fewer students, the just distractions aren't there.
You get pulled in by peers pretty easily.
And just with another adult in the bus to be able to respond, because the driver can't. Yeah.
Fair.
Okay. So we'll make that change. Okay. And when the paperwork goes home, if you think of any questions or anything, just reach out and let's talk it through. But as soon as you signed that and got it back to us, that's when we'd be able to make that change to the transportation.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
And bus garage will give me a call, or you will.
They'll be in contact with you to kind of solidify everything once we get your permission.
Sure.